All right. Grand Rising, everyone. It is Shalonda or Shay Seeking, and I'm back. And yeah, so today I kind of wanted to talk about um, the lost tribes, right? And how did they get lost, right? What exactly does lost mean? Hold on, 'cause I don't want to lose track. So, okay. Mm. Oh, perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. And then again, when we're talking about founding, what exactly does found mean? And I already did like a video, I believe, on found when it comes to breaking down that definition of American in the 1828 Webster's dictionary. Um, but I don't know. We might just peek into it right here today because there's a couple of key words that I started with today. Inflation is one of them, right? And we'll just peek at just a real quick of what WordNet says that it means, and then I'll probably go into again the etymology of it. Well, we'll just do it all at one time, okay? Because again, my stuff is about like it's all over the place because it's dealing with all different aspects of us. Again, stuff that's going on now, past, present, and future. So again, it's funny how we did that video last night because we're gonna talk about a couple things, okay? Copycat energies, succubus energies, things to watch out for because people are lost, right? Or they're losing. So again, I don't know. I look at my energy as more of a protector. Like there's more of a protector energy, a defense mechanism for a strength hold, in a sense, when it comes to the mental part. Everybody has their own gifts. You know what I'm saying, and they're all put together and in a very unique way for you, right? They were given to you, but we have people that when I think about shape shifting and soul snatching, I think about people resonating with, well, not resonating with your energy, but obsessing over it or mocking it or wanting to obtain your gifts. Okay, so this could be done by, again, I feel, sitting in monitoring spirits, people watching you, governing forces using their tools and their tech in order to, spy on you, all these types of things. And this is how sometimes some of you can have an idea and you think it's like synchronicity, but you know that there's some energies of people that just throw you off, or they alarm, no matter how sweet they are, they'll alarm you, right? I mean, real is just real, and people should be able to identify real when they come across real. And there's never going to be nothing like the real thing. Even when they decided to make people in the likeness of God, it's nothing still like the original, right? So again, I'm thinking even carbon or carbon copy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is, you know what I'm saying? And is this what caused the chaos in the beginning when it comes to the earth? Is this the chaos? It's really funny. It's really funny because a lot of these things feel very vindictive now going through them, right? Because it's like one-sided then, you know what I'm saying? If it's been already declared or dictated, right? But again, I feel like I haven't come here to fit into this world. Like I've come to change it, to alter it in a good way. Only good vibes. Well, there's always going to be some bad ones that persist, right? But that's what I mainly try to use my gifts to do, bring clarity. And also, I have to look for clarity, right? Amongst other soul siblings, right? I have to like be able to check myself. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things, right? But it's funny, we're talking about all this carbon and gas and all of this stuff when inflation, right? So it's talking about inflation in etymology is mid 14th century, a swelling caused by the gathering of wind in the body. You know how you catch wind of something? Like you didn't know something was going on, but you caught wind of it and you're like, hold on, what the hell is going on here? Like catching wind. I mean, it's also making me think about like like whispers in the dark, or oh, I was gonna think of that one too. Okay, hold on. All right. So a gathering of wind. So it's almost like whispering, or even I was thinking, even when I was looking at some of those images again, shadow, even shadow work. Because again, a lot of times I think we think about shadow work, and this is just me going into this freestyle. We just talking, right? We asking questions and talking at the same time, right? Is the work that's like overshadowing that family, those lineages, those people from the past almost. I don't know why I was just talking to somebody earlier about it, and it gives me Matthew energy, right? And whenever I think about it, it's kind of like an overshadowing or a casting. And I'll be honest, the way I started looking at the book of Matthew differently is by watching Discovery of Witches when it comes to Diana and Matthew. It kind of changed the way I look at the book, and just even that whole shadow. I don't know, even when it comes to like a sundial, maybe that's what that thing was. Some kind of sundial. Like having something to do with 6. I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock, or hell, maybe 666. I don't know. I don't know, right? Okay, and so again, the gathering of wind. So again, and that can be a powerful thing. Even it has something to do with the flow of things, or a current. Even thinking about colors of the wind when it's talking about Pocahontas, because a lot of Pocahontas energy is like, hovering around lately. But just seeing how it was daylight in those images, in some of those images, but the way that the shadow cast over some of those trees, and then the whatever was underneath those trees was being, exposed in those images. And it was a lot of bones, a lot of, like I'm thinking even Book of Shadows, it was like a lot of, it's some of that we're getting also, that energy from the ancestors, those who have come, the soil. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the soil, right? Okay? And so if you think about that, sometimes like people will find me like in the sunroom or outside, and I'm just kind of just looking, and I'm kind of like, or they'll be talking to me and I kind of look off and I'm kind of like, but it's almost like something is, like again, like Pocahontas was saying that her brothers, the wind is her brothers, or whatever, how we might look at that some kind of way or whatever, and just maybe we say these things, but are we really taking in what it really means? And although I might do that and stop for a second, even when, when a lot of you that, use, your mind or whatever for your work or whatever, you'll notice that sometimes you stop. You may not even hear anything, but again, subconsciously, are we picking up something? I don't know. And it says in flatulence, like, okay, farting or whatever, or pooped. Yeah, so like passing, gas. And so we're talking a lot about gases and all this other stuff here, and greenhouse. And greenhouse, I don't know why. Like I said, we can look at it like this. That mind is on right now. I was thinking about a dome, or like I said, that iron dome. And I was also thinking about like making a firmament around something, right? Or like some kind of imaginary shield around something. Now, are you doing that? It brought me back to the whole Truman Show energy. Are you doing that? Even if you think about the Capitol building, how it's shaped, the architecture of the whole thing, right? It even has like a shell type energy when it comes to the top, the domes at the top, right? It's almost like a crown, almost. A crown chakra. Even if you look at some of the images of antiquity, you'll see these women with these crowns, right? And then they have like a velvet, like round kind of shape. And then sometimes even here, if you think about like Vashti and images of that, actually I went back and I found someone that had a crown, in those images, right? That had a crown just like hers. But she was bare breast, and laying there. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just making me think about some things. Like, even like I said, these gases or whatever. Are these people trying to come up with a creative way to block us from these natural resources? and turn these things into these other resources, which are not going to be so healing and not going to be so nurturing and not going to be so helpful, like right when we're finding out about or seeing these things on a different level? Are they trying to do something to, are they, scrambling, trying to figure out some kind of way to block this energy? I mean, I don't think they would want it to go on because they can't really do anything to stop you. They can't really touch you like that. You know what I'm saying? Separating the children, because again, if it's the sons of God that are Israel, right? But Moab is now in the land, then that means that the children were lost because of what? And they say the pen is mightier than the sword. We know about paper genocide, but we also know about the Moorish activity too. And we also know that they claim also to be here before whatever time. But again, I'm not knocking nobody or nothing or saying it's not true. But I know that when they say the pen is mightier than the sword, but it seems as though. And look, I was going to show you the pen, but it's funny. I got this feather pen. If you notice, back in antiquity, people used this, right? But again, what does this is the feather, right? But what does the tip or the nib look like? A sword. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. So is the pen the sword? Is the sword the pen? Is it really? Oh, here we go, right here. Is it really crafty counsel though? And again, them being able to be 10 steps ahead of you and blocking natural resources, natural healing, natural gifts, our natural ability to think, natural foods. Even when it talks about our food from the farm to table energy. Like, how are we sure? I know that people have been probably making these videos, but I've been seeing a lot of those videos. And I just got up and just got on this camera. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. But I've been seeing a lot of like little video clips about like chicken and stuff that's still moving after it's fried or moving after it's cooked. And I know this might be some kind of like, fun and games or whatever, but it really just provoked thought to make me think. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? And when it comes to the FDA, they have altered things. They've always, we really never paid attention, but they've altered things where they're allowing more plastic particles and stuff to be able to be allowed in rice. And I don't know if any of you have noticed that if you leave your rice out for like 30 minutes or something, you go and try to eat it, it's like rocks. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that I just noticed. Like, I used to be a heavy cooker. I don't cook that much no more because of all this that's been going on, just like my whole life here. You know what I'm saying? And maybe some of you have experienced this or experienced it at some time during your ascension or your awakening or whatever. But, I just been in it. And again, I just really have neglected. But I was just, and I don't know if I talked to you guys about this or somebody else, but it's like, people say, you're supposed to put God before everybody, put God before your children and things like that. And I used to be like, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? I used to be like, you crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't, what do you mean? Why would I? Or just anyway, even when they talk about like your husband or something like that. Right? But let's stick back with the put God first, okay? And then it just so happens that, like, again, for me, this seemed like this was, again, whether it's my God or another God or some God or just, Elohim, whatever. I feel like people are so used to saying those cliche type of things, especially in the religious aspect and in the church. But once somebody actually really does it and the people are outside looking in, they laugh, they poke fun, or they think, or again, like it was some kind of thing that popped up on my screen today, how to stop being lazy. Well, how do we know that, really investing time in source or some other energy, what I'm saying, is not, in Elohim? How do we know that that's not looking more like something lazy? How do we know that it's not backwards and everybody that's running around and scrambling and going place to place all day long, that those are the people that are blocking out that, even though it seems as they're blessed because they're doing more work out in society and they're doing more. But again, with spiritual gifts and being more in tune, is with being sitting in silence or even just being at home. People think that just because you want to be at home, that you're depressed or something like this. It just so happens that, yeah, there's a lot of things that irritate me sometimes about my home and maybe even the people sometimes. But again, and sometimes it's like, man, I wish I could just call somebody and get out. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, don't have no people left. But you know what I'm saying? Unless I really wanted to talk to somebody, I have people that I can call. But, for me, like I said, I just look at everything through a different lens. I don't know. Okay? So, okay. I wanted to, go ahead and look at these here cards because I just kind of just was sitting around here and I'm like, okay, I need to pull me a couple of cards just to see where we at, with these things today. And I just wanted to pull one card out of my little fun deck. And I found that because I was about to go on this rant about witchy behavior, right? Or behavior of, people that are, doing certain things intentionally, knowingly. Some of us are, I feel like since we spend so much time really in the depths and in the trenches of that whole thing, when it comes to spirituality to a certain extent, not to say we're better than nobody because everybody is always going to be unique and different. That does attract a lot of other energies that want to act as that's how they are. But again, they're really just really copycat succubus kind of energies trying to get in where they fit in. So it made me think about people that are and then sometimes like, again, when I was younger and stuff like that, it was like, things would, like we were just talking about that whole thing that was going on in Deuteronomy, where I feel we were definitely talking about somebody making replicas. So again, in a way of since looking at it as like a god, a jealous god, or a god's wife, or a consort of a god, or something like that. How could you piss off your goddess? How could you, what I'm saying? How could you really, if there's something small, right, or something that happens, right? Then to say, oh, remember you said this, so I made like many of you, and. You know what I'm saying? So again, does this where that Solomon or even that whole Muslim energy come from when it comes to many wives, right? I don't know. Like I made many of you and then I put them over you, right? And it's like, like I think we talked about this a while back. And it's just like in that chapter trying to say like you weren't being obedient, but somebody didn't realize that this is a high priestess of Empress, and she's actually awake and in tune, and she knows who she is and she knows where she stands. So that's where this whole thing I start thinking with Lilith and Eve and whatever all these other energies. I think this is where it started. It's like, again, could you think about like a woman that's just a free woman, from the jungle, or possibly, just a woman that's just like a warrior empress, like the Amazonian women, and then these men coming in, like when I think about Moab energy or Amorite energy, I think about that energy, Moorish energy in Islam. So again, somebody else might tell you something else, but again, that's going to be the studies that they've obtained from scholarly education, which is to lead out that which is naturally within you and to train you to think something else. And if you don't believe me, you can research the word on your own. So again, this is where witch hunts would come in, and where men would then, again, even in these particular areas where prophecies are supposed to happen again, because you don't realize that you're in the biblical areas here, right here on this holy land, the land of milk and honey, the Americas. So again, I can see why, again, then that goddess might be pissed off and ban people from being able to use these kind of things, because these women now, being connected to that empress, her gifts rubbing off on her masculine, because he has his own, right? But she has hers too. And wherever his wand is going, you know what I'm saying? These things are being sexually transmitted, and not in that way. People are saying like, you're getting like crabs or something. No. I ain't never had that problem. So I'm just saying these dis-ease, right? And then a lot of these women want to be that empress. And so what happens? Then they start to, somewhat try to conspire with plans to, they catch wind of this. And then the wind starts to, all these whispers and things. And the empress is like somewhere in her own little bubble being protected. Or was she not? Is it protection? Or was it to hide you away from what the masculine energy might have been doing? You know what I'm saying? So again, it just makes me think about Solomon and the seven sisters and the Pleiadian energy. And then, I think it's Asmodeus was the demon that would try to break up relationships. So I don't know. I guess I'm on the right track, because when I start getting on the right track, and I guess this is just like a real natural like high or healing, I think that it just something comes through. And not even in that way. I'm just saying it's like it's a joyful thing, because I never want to mislead anybody. You see what I'm saying? I'm never want to be some, even though I know I might, because some stuff is, and that's why I say don't believe what I say. Don't think what I say. Do your own research. People that come here and really resonate, because you already know. You know what I'm saying. You can sense me. You can see me. I see you. You see me. So it's not my fault that I see others, and I'm someone who is of defense. So what am I going to do? I'm going to call it out. It's even no offense. I'm not even thinking like, oh, yes, this is going to get this person back. No, it's just like the police or a judge or something. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, again, the whole thing about preparing the table means, that those that, try to judge the holy ones are going to be then judged. You know what I'm saying? Is this some kind of thing where there's forever this judgment that the whole world decided to come against these certain energies here, or these children of God? And it just so happens that it was allowed to happen for a certain amount of time to strengthen you. Look, I'm going to show you the cards that we got here to strengthen you and to do these things or whatever. And help you heal and help you notice what shadow work is. And that shadow work being some of the things that are left over from those who came before you. And that's why they're here beside you, helping you, or they're in you, or what, I'm saying, however you want to look at it, at these times. But just remember, when they're not there, when you don't feel them right at your side, the more further they get apart from you, I feel like the more it's letting you know that all the elements is here. And it ain't even nothing to worry about. It's all good. Don't even trip. You know what I'm saying? Now we had to be close to you. Now we can be far away, but there ain't nothing changed with the amount of power or impact, as long as you're doing right. Is how I feel. I don't know. Okay? So again, I'm going to talk about the witchy energy in a second, okay? Right? Because a succubus can be a male entity or energy as well, right? And sometimes even if you try to warn people about something, if nobody doesn't like really believe you or have faith or whatever, then sometimes, it's like, even with me, you go dabbling with something, you get deep into it, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So, then you might have to go to that same person. That's why I just be careful about how I treat people. Even when y'all know what I said about so many things about like looking at, those who are in above in society, in that sense, right? But again, I still judge them on their character or their content, or, what their works, right? So even though I feel some way about administrations, period, I don't pick no side. The whole damn thing got to fall, or had to fall, is how I looked at it, right? So again, I don't pick no sides. But if somebody's saying something I happen to hear it, then I'm going to go ahead and look at it honestly, and, I'm open-mindedly, and try not to be biased, right? To hear what they say. There's still somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I know energy can shift and change. Just saying. Lord of hosts. Can people bodies be hosted? Is that called, we get this whole perception of what, when somebody's possessed. Is it always bad? Can you possess a certain energy when you can feel your ancestors and those around you? Just saying. But they never lead me, again, at least in this dimension where I'm very clear, to want to just really harm anybody. But again, like I said, I don't know. They say, oh, God is going to judge you. Well, the whole world is sitting there acting like we don't know that God could be a female, and that might not necessarily be coming here to fit in with what you got going on right now is actually the energy that God sent to tear some shit up. Because of what was happening with people and children. So and it takes strength to know that people are even judging you or looking at you naked, or your nakedness, right? Your skeletons in your closet. And so that's what, again, how can you piss off the feminine God? Let people that pretend to be her friends, and you know good and damn well that they're not, have access to her personal life and her personal information. And then let them, try to take that information and use it and apply it to themselves, and let you treat them nice and exalt them, right? Let you exalt them and treat them nice while the wife is at home, wondering what's going on, or when she will have her, next meal even, right? And then, things like that. So it takes a lot of strength. And then to know that the girls that are out there being pranced around, or, gifted extra, gifts and qualities, whether it comes to spiritual or other, you know what I'm saying? And then, but you be their right hand, right? Or you be their best friend, right? Or you be the one that they come to when they really need that real thing. And you're supposed to be like arms wide open, because you're really the ones that are really gifted, and truly those, it may be their sword that cut you off, or their pen, with these build-a-beings. Because again, some of this makes me think it's because somebody doesn't want to share equally power. So, I'd rather just drop this change over here on that's going to bend and apply to what I want. You know what I'm saying? And we can all work together, and then we can, eliminate this energy, the main energy. And then, it's like cake and eat it too. And I feel like, again, sometimes this energy has changed. I think that there's something that has happened that has altered it, right? But I feel like these days, you never know who you're dealing with. And once that wand, I don't know, get that honey on it is not the same. Foreign honey. I mean, he may know that it still ain't nothing like the real thing, but his pride is not going to allow him to possibly look at it that way. So again, and another part of it is, it might be preserving or preservation, right? Because I think that's, hold on, let's see if this is the other card. Because, then they don't want, it's like if I can't have it, then nobody else can. And it's like, okay. Yeah, well. And so I wonder if that's like how, again, some of the ancestors were, possibly let down and left in the dust, in a sense. Because and I know it ain't nothing like like with the masculine energies, is it like, because there's a difference between both of what we're supposed to be doing here, right? So that's just it. Or it will keep you possibly hidden and have other ways to access, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole, I don't know, sweeping under the rug. I like to address things like head on. And I guess that's the Taurus in me. You know what I'm saying? I like to address it head on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk it over now. So that's just like I said. Okay, so anyways. So again, we're talking strength here. Yeah, and preservation, right? And then we have here the 3 witchy sisters. So it's perfect because this is, now sometimes I'll just go by, if I'm just trying to, I already showed it to you. If I'm just trying to see something, I might be just chilling and I come in here and I just say, I just want one card. and then I'll come back like 30 minutes later and say, give me your card in this deck or whatever, right? So again, but I was coming on here to talk to you about inflation, right? Which we're going to get back to it. And then I was coming on here to tell you also about, like, we're going to call them the ladies in the red dresses, right? Now, I found two. I think there's one more. Well, damn, is this, like something. I don't know. I'm still looking for the last one. I don't even know. It could be me. But I'm just saying, I'm pointing out things because the way that I had to learn, the way that I had to be, a loner, or I had to be, cast out as this like island energy, the way that I see. So it's, like I said, I think I found two of the, and again, like I told you, the devil energy to me is not like a harsh energy, but it could be an antichrist energy. Because again, Christ is going to be that brightest light. So again, what's going to happen when people identify that? They're going to try to steal that light, and they're going to use it for their own. And they're going to make sure that they keep that Christ energy hidden in the dark, in the dark itself, or in a tower, you know what I'm saying? Some kind of tower locked away, right? So they won't be able to utilize, they won't be able to operate, right? Binding them or blinding them, all right? So again, we have preservation. Reevaluate this battle you are engaged in. A hasty retreat may be in order. Self-preservation may be the only thing salvageable. Okay. So again, that's making me think like, dude, you talking too much. But again, like I said, I don't operate, and if I operated the way people want me to operate, then I wouldn't be who I was today. And so again, I don't see things like the same way that people see them, and I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, damn, why can't I just really submit? Why can't I really just do this like other people? But it's just like, it's a force of, I think, nature. The sun is nature, right? It's taking me back to Egyptian energy, to Ra energy. And every time, again, they try and belittle or degrade or defile, or they let these people wrongfully, do the things that they've been doing, then again, it does increase that energy. But again, these are stiff-necked, hard-headed people. So we're thinking about, so basically we're calling Israel stiff-necked and troublesome and all these things, right? And they don't listen. It's true. It's true to a certain extent. They let other people come in and turn them away from their true sources, right? Or source, right? But it's also the people, again, above them that know that by them doing this, they benefit. And then in the end, after defiling Israel, they're going to go ahead and defile the rest of the people as well. But because they got trinkets and gifts and positions of power and increases in their platforms and their whatever, this will allow for them to already have that foundation laid. And now it's too late for us to realize. So all of us doing all this work, it meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's just to keep me the odd one out, because again, I feel like I'm a sole heir, royal heir of the plane. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people don't want that. They think it's going to be some kind of dictatorship. Who am I to think? I don't know. People might just be judging right now to see what my growth is. This is why I'm under a microscope or something, because, you know what I'm saying, they're actually just trying to make sure that everything is good before I go. But again, unbeknownst to me, right? See? Because I know that I'm different. So the people trying to laugh at me or make me think I'm different, or I shouldn't be that way, or whatever, that doesn't work for me. You will have to choose something else to do. You will have to choose, and that comes off as like being cocky and arrogant, and it's really just not. It's like you just probably should choose something else to do, and then I think that's when people like to get physical. But then I think that's when, there's a big problem too. And if they can't do it with their own bare hands, right, then they'll probably try to use some tools, and then when they can't use those tools, then governing forces will get involved, and it's all out war. I think it already is, especially spiritual warfare. All right. So again, strength. You need to stand up and have an opinion, because in this case, yours is the only one that counts. Damn. Okay. This decision will have long-term effects on your future. Okay. So again, all right. I wanted to talk about this because I heard, and I want to be careful, because I want people to be careful out there, okay? Because I was sitting there, and you know how you don't want to have somebody like in your feed or whatever on YouTube, and you try to hide them and you take them out your feed, but they keep on coming to your feed. It's just something. It's just no matter how nice they try to be, how sweet they try to be, you can see right through them. You can see something. It's like this stain, and it's like a nasty one too. And it's just like, I just said, I see the shadiness. I see the shadowing. I see, the copycat kind of like tendencies. Like you talk about something and then this person takes it and kind of makes it what they would see even better, or try to outdo you by, and then there's too much resemblances, not necessarily exact, but too much resemblances, especially when some of these feminines, that I see certain traits in you that I'm seeing through lineage. Come on now. Now, I might not know you, but that don't mean that you don't know me. And I'm going to tell you, I was just thinking last night, and I might have even said it on that video, about the bone collecting energy. Remember the bone collector? Right? So I was thinking when it comes to that bone collector energy, when we saw that wall made of bones, I'm just wondering, like back there when it comes to like the time of when Moab, when Abraham came in and gave the address from himself, not God, right? And then Moab and them took over that area. Was this some kind of switcheroo? Was this some kind of undermining kind of thing? And then the true children that were there, the true sons of God, ended up buried in this soil here, this very soil, right? And it's like we caught it this time, but again, if they can keep this energy consumed, they're taking other parts of the information. There's really no one widespread bringing out this information when I'm telling you about the prophetic things, the things that can be coming this winter when it comes to a plague or something, or even this thing that already came, and explaining it another way than with the scientists, because they act like they only got one or two scientists that we can even talk to about any of these things. One renowned, world renowned, and just how they even bring them, introduce them to you. Oh, we have a world renowned doctor from, it's just like, what? Like, come on, man. I think that when people are more into natural healing, those people are targeted, sometimes even taken out. But we'll sit here and listen to the same so-called renowned, that's under scrutiny about lies being told and everything like that. And we still only going to this person to find out answers about this thing that don't seem to be what they told us it was. I mean, I just don't know. I just question everything. Okay? Okay. So I was watching this girl, one of the girls in a red dress, right? And I noticed I did that thing, and I remember last night I was going to call that video something shapeshifter, right? In my mind's eye. I didn't speak it. I don't think I spoke this out loud in the video, but that's what was going through my mind. And I think it was a part that I wanted to share with y'all, but then I forgot about it and it didn't make it into the video. Because I was thinking about just looking at this about as molecules and different particles and God particles and all this other stuff. Like what are in these pixels or these things that we're actually, if you saw them in the video, that we're actually seeing? Like, what is that? Is that like vapor? Is it because of I don't know. I'm just thinking like it. Oh, what am I thinking? Just like how energy travels, or how back in the day, in the ancient times, how the ancestors were able to communicate from a distance. And, it just makes me think about these kind of things. And then it started making me think about how did the children get lost? Are we in the lost point right now where people are going to get lost? Is this the point? Exodus and all of these other things. And it made me think about the violence. It made me think about how 80% or whatever of so-called black people in the Americas don't even really, they are still considered misnomers such as black, right? Or African American. 50% of them don't even really know, possibly, probably even more, don't even know that we were already here, right? They don't know about that theory. Now, and if they don't know about those things, then they probably don't know about even Moorish energies, or they don't know about the paperwork and the documents and all these things like this, right? Even if you sign up for some of these tribes and some of these nations during nation building, people should build. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying you should be careful with who you're building with, and you should know something about them. Because what was happening in these towns were They were being conquered or taken over. You either comply or you die. And, and it's almost like how that seems with the administration is kind of telling us now. And, I don't think that I can't see what color these people is by these bones that have been left behind, by the voices or anything like this, right? But I'm just saying, it's like, it's like the emperor with his new clothes, like all these robes and everything, and what colors they are, even on these cards here. The armor, put on the armor or the breastplate of God. So again, as somebody sucking our energy again as the chosen ones or whatnot, right? And putting it on as if we are them, and then now they're over us and they're in charge of something. A conservatorship maybe that you might not even know about. Some of these people are very crafty and very smart, and they know, what I was going to say is I saw one of these girls with the red dress, and I'll just say what I got to say, and you can take what you want from it. And I noticed that I felt like whatever she was saying was kind of like coming off of what I was saying last night. When we showed the images and we talked about the ancestors and the earth speaks. And she was showing a picture of, her and her father. And again, this is, I don't know, it just bothered me. I don't know. It didn't bother, her and her father picture didn't bother me. I was like, oh. But it's almost like somebody that gives you like that, they trying to one up. And because, like I said, because these people have larger platforms and they don't have nooses or they don't have things tied around their platforms and their things on social media, they're allowed to expand while your numbers dwindle, right? And then she says something, well, hey, guys, why don't you send me a picture in the mail or whatever of you and your father? And I'm like, what? Girl, see, I don't know. This is just me. Again, this is no offense, nothing against nobody, but I'm just saying, I would just be careful out there when it comes to these kind of things. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have things like this or whatever, where again, you could tell somebody, hey, everybody share, if you had a Facebook group or something, you could say, everybody share your, y'all want to share a picture of your father or your parents, but that's one thing. I'm funny about my damn address, okay? So that's one thing. First, now you want a picture of me and my dad, and you want my address? Energy is not the only thing that shifts around here, people. I just thought it strange. Plus, we 30s, 50s, 60s. Again, depending on what the demographics is of people's platform. I don't know. Maybe you feel okay with that. Maybe it's something that whatever. But I'm just saying, I would just be careful, especially when it comes to. And I think that she said something about like her father being a mathematician, and and I guess I just got my ways. I got my ways. I guess I do. But it's just being real. It's not being malicious. It's being real. It's like people should be able to do stuff to people in the dark and nobody say nothing. Is that the real reason why Israel continued to be getting lost? Like, we can stop the lostness. Because God is a forgiving God. Because it makes me just think why God kicked these two out of the garden. What did y'all do? Or these three? Okay. Something just showed me who the third. Something just showed me who the third one is outside of myself being the original, but the replicas that will be like possibly in society in these positions that are being prepared or already have been established or placed behind my back while I'm being with the firmament around the dome so that I can't really discern everything that's going on. And love bombing and breadcrumbing is still coming in. and my knight in shining armor has not showed up and probably never is, because that was not the real thing. But again, okay. I'm just saying, be careful about what y'all doing out there. I'm trying to give you the whole entire game, kind of like in a sense, because we in them times and this story repeats itself. And right now is the time. Right now is the time. Them not really reporting on crime. Motherfuckers in your business all the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have been warned. As a people in general. And while you sitting there, you know, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And while you sitting there happy about how many so-called white people you kicked off their land, you know what I'm saying? You don't realize that, again, now that nation is growing because you're a part of it and you're happy because you got your little piece. But you don't realize once you cross these people or once they're done using you, then they will be able to use their brute and their force to remove you from yours, or you might end up missing. Give a damn. I said what I said. Okay? Feminine energy is very strong right now. So you just be careful about what feminine you're dealing with. I just think that that's it. Because again, like there's like a naive, again, so forgiving myself is something that I must do. For allowing, you know, even knowing that the energy was there, had me fooled when it comes to some, and I'm not saying all of the energies, right? I'm just saying I know somebody was there, and I feel like it's the kind of energies that weren't saying anything. They were just there. That's the scary part. And I never really allowed them in. They just came with it because maybe, you know, they were familiar or close to a masculine or divine masculine, right? So I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful. It's just a time to be careful. I think so. It really is. I don't know. Like I said, it's just too much going on. A lot of it is not being reported on. And again, I'm telling you. We're not going to say that people don't belong, right? Unless they're illegal, right? But I'm saying, when it comes to, I didn't say that even when it comes to the people that are just like third generation so-called blacks. I didn't even say anything like they don't belong. I'm just saying there's a difference. I'm going to keep on saying it. There's a difference between them and the copper-colored or red-skinned people that were already here. There's a difference. Some of them are my ancestors when it comes to the people that I'm talking about that came here in the third generations. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say that anybody's right. You know what I'm saying. But we cannot forget and we cannot leave behind the story of those that were here before anything existed in the garden. When it comes to the earth. Because when you look in that concordance, earth is talking about people. So those are people before the creation. And the creation, the story is about creatures, though not like creepy crawling creatures, but I'm just saying those who were created, right? Possibly even in the likeness of God. So again, did someone kill God? Did somebody just leave God? Because you think of God as this big person in the sky that's like, oh, Abraham, go. No. You see what I'm saying? You don't even realize that, you know what I'm saying? You possibly could. But again, we're talking about warfare, mental war, spiritual war. So again, that God being so powerful or so strong that, you know, people could not get to them. It's just like, it could be just like that strength that we're talking about. In perseverance, where you're untouchable. The things these people are trying to do to you is not break. So again, ye are gods. Like, they can't dim your light. Whatever they try to do, you just still keep on getting back up and still trying to be good and help people. And you didn't get lured away by gifts and things like this or whatever. You know? Look at this. At the bottom of this deck. Abuela's medicine. The remedy of grandmothers. right? Because again, growing up, you can tell me what you want to tell me about God, but I could have swore that she was up in that kitchen every Sunday morning making that breakfast, and I wanted to be in there with her. You know what I'm saying? That was God to me. I'm just telling you. And again, time spent was, again, for me with my grandmother, more something than anybody. And I think that sometimes my parents might get jealous when they come to me talking about my grandmas and them. And again, I don't see my other grandma, that much nowadays. But, it doesn't take anything, because I'm on a mission here. I think people maybe don't realize that, and they think of you as being shady or funny or funky, but I feel like, again, when it comes to my family, I've always been a black sheep, and I've never felt like 100% comfortable around everybody, except for two of my, a few people, okay? Couple uncles, couple aunts, we'll just keep it like that. And then my cousins. All right? So again, we have this, I pulled a couple of these from the astronomy deck. Okay, and then I think we just going to look at these definitions, and I'll let you go. And that's just because everybody ain't going to want to stay for that, right? All right, so we got the square, okay? And it says a challenging situation and a mountain to climb, okay? And then we have yin, right? And this is showing the moon and the sun, a little bit of darkness here. I see Cancer energy here, Taurus. I don't know what the rest of these are, okay? And it says intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity, okay? And then we have this card here, Kanyini. In each other we find ourselves, okay? So again, that's what made me just started thinking so much about God particle. And if you look at this, look at how these people is in here. It's almost the same thing what we're looking at when we go on our journeys and look at the grounds. It's almost the same thing, as if it's just covered with one layer of grass or dirt or soil, And again, like a lot of those things, I think sometimes are like temple walls that have been knocked over. Is what I think that they are, right? So again, let's finish up inflation, and then we'll look at this one last thing, and then I'll leave you guys. Okay, so in the body. So again, this is making me think about some kind of chaos also, right? Outburst of pride. Okay, so again, right? So again, we were just talking about pride. I didn't even think this was even going to be having anything to do with that, right? So again, it's not even, and again, sometimes I don't even think it's pride, but it kind of is. It's American pride almost. But everybody else, have you noticed that? Everybody else can be proud except for Americans. Especially so-called, because so many people, for a long time was telling black people to go back to Africa, right? So again, nobody can really, with what we've found, right? Nobody can really say that anymore. So, it seemed like somebody had to swallow their pride a little bit. And then again, it is an outburst, like, we're American. I don't give a fuck, it's American. You know what I'm saying? America. And, and people might feel kind of strange about that, but it's just like to build back up the nation before it's tore down forever. Or, I just think we can't afford to be this to happen again one last time, and people to be really in your face telling you something when you obviously see what they're doing, and they trying to set you up for your downfall. That don't mean that we can't deal with other people, but it's going to have to be people that with that same amount of pride, no matter what color you are, right? That are going to have to stand up, because those people in those positions of power are not going to be the ones. So that's what I'm saying. And you won't be able to change it for me. A lot of times these people still carry cultures and things like that. And that's the things, the cultural differences. We're all just people that bleed red, right? Well, we're all different beings that bleed red. I don't know about that, because I think that there is some things that we don't know. But at the end of the day, we do know that people are prideful. We do know that people are territorial. We do know that, nations are being built. But again, are we doing the same thing? Or again, it just makes me think about that, right? Okay. So again, puffing up, a blowing into. So again, these people on the media seem to be very afraid of inflation. Now they're not gonna say we afraid of the pride that this month. Look, what is this doing? Is this some stuff we have to worry about? I mean, we're gonna call it a global warming and we're gonna talk about fossil fuel, but really the fossil fuel is the earth speaking. So it's like right underneath your nose is what they're saying to you. And Rod sent his daughter. So you think you slick, and she got pissed off. She's like, what the? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just that energy, right? And stiff neck is like, okay, y'all didn't get enough. We've already told you it's the breath of God. We went to a location randomly in the land, pulled up the geographical layout and showed you something there. I mean, regardless if you think it's an act or a trick or something like that, I'm just saying it was there. How did we even find that? Like something bigger is going on then. You know what I'm saying? Then that means that, again, some of us are that damn important that you got people that then conducted a whole simulation to fool you. Then who the hell are you then? Who are you then? Those of you that have gone through what I've gone through. And then they say, okay, this cycle is closed, move on. And you're like, hold the hell on. Hold up. I ain't done. I got something to say. Because, again, when it comes to this whole, okay, but it came out in the upright. Okay, it came out in the upright. Okay, so that you know, maybe this is, I don't know, something. I mean, it's something that I'm thinking and I'm seeing in my head right now that I'm not mentioning. But you know, and look at his hair still. You know, I don't know. I'm thinking defying odds or something. And then again, pride, that whole pride energy. And see, that's what I'm saying about like this. Like I'm proud of my land. I'm standing up for it, and I'll fight for it. Damn it. You know, that's just kind of like this energy here. You know, even with the King of Wands, it's like, you know, I'm the king of the heavens and the earth. You know, this throne and that throne. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is something given to me, a gift from God. We took the Ace of Pentacles is in the biblical text, right? So again, I'm still, you know, that thou art poor, but thou art rich. You see what I'm saying? Because it's almost like judgment. It's like, oh, get that shit back when it come to my people, dude. And I tell you this, and then you playing around talking about something, you know, we about to give it to these other people. Well, either you calling us the immigrant. Again, that's what I'm saying. What are we really talking about? Let's just keep it real. Let's be real, thorough, and straightforward. Like, because anybody still trying to play games after you done got caught doing something, it's like, what is wrong with you? Oh, jeez. Okay, a blowing into, right? So again, this whole thing too, all this stuff that we're talking here, all this stuff that we're all this knowledge that we're sharing or kicking, right? You know, we're blowing it, we're puffing, you know, and even like I told you the other day, it seems like somebody likes to provoke me or to get me into these things so I can trip up, because they were trying to get Jesus or that Christ energy to mess something up, to say something wrong so that they can condemn or persecute, right? So all these attacks, and like I told you, it's like them sitting there sending out all those whippings or all those wands at you, tricking you, you know, messing with your head and shit, you know, sending out all these things. Here they are, sending out all these wands at you. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, mentally, physically, through governing forces. You know what I'm saying? National. Could you think about being what's that movie called? Oh man, I don't know. I don't think it was like national security, but it was like something like this person was like the targeted person of the whole world. Like they just wanted them gone and dead, right? Or even if that movie Gemini, how they sent someone after themselves. So again, when it comes to the divine masculines that I felt a connection with, they're replicas. I don't know, like I said, of Have you split my brain possibly down the middle? That's it. That's that. I mean, there's some depth to it on a whole nother level, right? And then after all these, right? I'm saying that makes me think about that in that sense where then to blow the fucking house down. So it's just like, and I don't care who's standing in the way. And somebody said that. I think that, yeah, somebody said that in a video last night that I was watching. A soul sibling said, and I'm not going to even say it in that sense, right? Because I'm not physically, and I think that's the thing. They're going to take it wrong anyway, so whatever the fuck it is, all right? So, so again, we talk about the bull, and they said when the bull see red, it's a go. And I think that that's just what it is. When the bull see red, it's a go. So you're going to put these two devils in red dresses in front of me. And you're going to sit there and let them be almost replicas of me. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to almost just do that. And then make it like I'm just so crazed and jealous when I said if somebody wanted to go, they could go. Because I'm not chasing, because I'm an empress. And I want to be shown the respect. And I know who I am. And I refuse to bow down or be bent in any kind of way when it comes to my people and my land. It's almost the same energy that Mary had. So again, if that's the way, then I have to then find out ways to worry about my land. Like I'm not going to keep on, or my people, or the protection of them. I'm not going to let, when it comes to love and war, I'm not going to let that distract. So it's not that I don't even, then I'm not caring, because a lot of times I feel like I was getting like like this energy back as if I'm a cold-hearted bitch, or you know, here in cold as winter, or heartless. But it's not even necessarily that. And again, inspire. So again, maybe they might look at some of these things as somebody inspiring, so they want to try to bond or bind my masculines, as if I'm not going to be forgiving of my masculines. You know what I'm saying? If I don't still love them and send out all forms of protection around them still. You see what I'm saying? So it's just that, right? Because again, it doesn't matter. They inspire me in a good way, and keeping me away from them and not letting me communicate with them and others that want to do what's right together to make positive changes, and putting people there that don't want to do positive changes, or they just seem as they do because they are in the likeness. And somebody said, let's go ahead and make mankind like this, right? Because everything was already created in Genesis 1. The fruits and shit is the people. A lot of it have to do with coat of arms. Then they wanted to make them like them. Those are the ones that are heartless. Those are the ones that are being used as like assassins, you know. Punani, presence, platforms, power, possessions, people, pillage, smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place in the motherfucking race. Do you hear what I'm saying? But you've been so worried about what somebody's so-called color of their skin is, or, you know, when it comes to cleaning the place up, we're all here. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if somebody else feels this way, that I don't think that anybody wants someone just to go collect a whole bunch of group of these people because they're Chinese or so-called white and kill them all or remove them. I mean, I don't know what y'all think, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. Well, of course, then I guess I can see why Caucasian people would be worried and why Asians are speaking up now. But this is something that I've already forewarned. But they degraded that empress and chose others. And so it's just like, I don't, I'm still going to sit here and tell the message. You know what I'm saying? They can keep on trying to come up with crazy, crafty ways to try to get at me. But I'm going to keep on saying what I'm saying. Because in the end, I'm going to end up with it all anyway. Whatever was taken away from me. Or whatever I hadn't gotten yet, because in this time, I'm still utilizing my time to help other people through this process. That are naturally just people that get and then give back. They get and then give back. They don't even, maybe not even, some people might steal from the rich to give to the poor, but the thing is, I'm just saying, people that I feel are naturally, they'll go without before they really take in order to give. And that's when it is pure and it comes from the heart. Action of inflating with air or gas. Okay. So again, this kind of, when people saying they're targeted or triggering, or even look at this here. That can look like gas right there. It's not white like clouds, it's gray. Made me think about chemtrails, or like, again, what's happening when they spraying stuff in certain people's neighborhoods. I think Prince talked about something like that before he left the building. That's my stomach. Okay. Oh, gas. And the wind is picking up at the same time. All right. So again, an enlargement of prices. Okay. And then in WordNet, a general and progressive increase in prices. Okay. That's the noun. Another noun, the cosmology, a brief exponential expansion of the universe. I was thinking about portals or something the other day. Faster than the speed of light, postulated to have occurred shortly after the Big Bang. Another one is a lack of elegance as a consequence of being pompous and puffed up with vanity. All right. So again, I don't know. All right. Lack of elegance. And again, and that's what I'm saying about like politically correct and everything like that. Sometimes it calls for you to have to, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to a lion, to use your roar, right? Because I look at it like this. When it comes to entertainers, they have their personality of who they are, probably at home. And then they have a personality of who they are, possibly in interviews. I mean, hopefully it should all match up to being what the personality is of the person. But then, most thing that we look at is, again, that which causes people to be like, I guess a fan or something, is what they've done on camera or on script. And I don't know. And like, I guess if we look at it like personally, if I see somebody's like interview personally, okay, I like your personality or whatever. Okay, this person, cool. I could see myself, chilling with this person, whatever. But then, in some of the music, I'm like, why you say it like that? Why you gotta be so rude? You know what I'm saying? So again, like, and then some music is just very soothing, for me. But other, because I'm really in the lyrics. I'm like, so I just can't just enjoy it like that. Like the lyrics is like telling the second something story, right? For me. So it's like, so sometimes I'm like, why you gotta be so rude? Yeah. Or it's just one of those things like, listen to music, like, was it? Girl, oh, whoo! That's what it was. Let me pull out one of these love cards. Tina Marie, Out on a Limb. Mm. I'm like, what is you talking about, woman? What is you talking about? Had me all up in my feelings last night. I'm telling you. Woo! Girl, look, if y'all listen to that song, listen to it. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Okay, trust. The situation is calling for you to be, for you to have faith. You deserve love. You are lovable. So again, a lot of stuff, through this journey made me feel like, I knew I was lovable, but I'm like, why can't nobody else see it? But, I don't want to be like right all the time. But like I felt that way. Or for a second, more than likely, it made me think, oh, I'm giving all this love. Why is it feeling like I'm not a lovable, or I'm not a loving person? Like everything I do pretty much is love. Like when I'm taking care of I just notice when I'm with my D baby, it's all about love. If she just want to sit there and sit on my lap for 2 or 3 hours, we just gonna be sitting there and she's gonna be sitting on my lap. It's just like, I know, to me, that's the way. I don't know. Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. So again, yeah. Codependency, addictions are affecting your romantic life. Okay. All right, but it says something is about to be happening very soon in new love. But again, I nobody care about all that. I ain't trying to, it is what it is. If it is what it is, it's gonna be. It's gonna be. It's not. It's not. All right. So again, I think this is all, y'all. The act of filling something up with air. Again, I'm telling you. And then even with these, these wands that people are sending towards me in the chosen, you can't see them. You can see these. We're in the 3D, right? But so you should be able to see them. But again, I think some of us have some magnificent minds. I just think that some of us are different. I just think that. And you don't even know all the way. And they don't even know all the way. So nobody know what to do. So they just probably scared as hell. They probably just, let's pretend like these people don't even exist. And they keep trying to do things to get to you and they can't. And so that must be a scary thing. You don't know what to do with yourself sometimes. They don't know what to do. So it's like, when really, instead of an illusion, you can really just give me my shit back. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be in sackcloth or black. I keep wanting to say black cloth. And you could stop lying, stop manipulating, stop mass manipulating, stop selling bull, talk about the real shit, fix the real shit, and keep it moving. I mean, this is how I see it. I don't know why if you giving out. Somebody did. I just wanted to faint. I'm gonna tell you right now. Even though I know money is they can just print out whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, anyway, right? So when they put together how many bills and stuff have been passed in the past, I don't know if it was like a 10-year radius. It's like, where the hell is all that money going? And when did you realize that that's not the way? When did you realize that that's not working? Because somebody said, oh, we've put in several things before for these communities and stuff all the time. Well, what the hell are you doing wrong? The money is, okay, was the money there? Well, who ran off with the money? Did the people that ran off with the money really care about the people that you gave the money to them to take care of? Or is it the programs? Or do you have something wrong with the system or the way that it's being dealt out? What is the problem? I just don't know. It's just like, let me on in. Shit. Like, move. You know what I'm saying? Where's my Resolute desk? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Come on. I just don't know. As much money, it was, I was about to say, okay, I used to say that when I was a kid. When I was a kid. Okay, it's like quadrillions of dollars, okay? On car insurance. No, I'm just playing. Okay, okay. It's something in the air. It's something in the air. Trillions of dollars spent on these type of bills, okay, over time, and nothing has changed. Oh my goodness. And it's still, the people are still the problem at the end of the day. It's not. They just want control. The people are not the problem, especially not the people, not the everyday people that are Americans. Rather, I say Americans, I'm talking about all of us. I just like to identify the fact that some of us are descended from those who were here before anyone. And at this time, after the 400 years, which I believe have already passed, right now people have been doing wrong and is consuming and taking in, and that can lead to lots of different things because we're not the curse is so-called over, and it's up to us to figure out if we're going to be collective together and turn it around and fix it and make it into something. Now that we realize right now in real time the living God is here, and we are trying to use that energy to build for real, not seem like we are, and really we just worried about ourselves and our own family, right? Again, so you have these people that are going to run off. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, they're going to run off with all of these things, and your children are not going to have any generational wealth. And it's scary if you hear the person that is presiding in the house right now say to a room full of obviously so-called Caucasian people that if they don't, he said, I'm president. This was in 2007, I think. He said, I'm president. So I don't know if he was saying, say I'm president, or in the future, I'm going to be president, and this is going to happen. And if we leave them things there, then they are going to be the same very tools that are going to come after the way he said it. You know what I'm saying? I can only judge you on what was just said. Just like they're trying to make everything that come out of your mouth into something else other than what it is. You know, but these people be throwing low blows. I had to say the thing they showed the other day about him saying the Negro League or whatever. You know, first of all, like I said, you know, because I'm still one of them people that's just triggered automatically by those things. But then I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they doing. You know what I'm saying? I can get you. You might put me in my, you know, I'm thinking it's 2020, it's 2021. I can keep on saying that. I don't think nobody should really be on television talk about Negro anything. Especially, I mean, if you want to make a good impression, you know what I'm saying? But I guess that's what they were trying to do, right? They're trying to make them look so bad, you know, like worse than all the rest. But every time when something doesn't go people's way and we have a president, he's worse than all the rest. You know, when none of them has been doing what they're supposed to be doing. All fighting the feminine energy, the mothering energy that can come and clean it all up in no time. But they'll rather, you know, rape and pillage and defile and assassinate her character, you know, and try to, you know, use other things in order to, you know, basically just demolish, take it down and never have to deal with it again. And just build other bitches to do the job. Or guys. I just thought about something else. I can't say it. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.